A very good evening, welcome to Premier League Live here this evening to kick off 2026 in the Premier League. And tonight we've a double header for you that certainly will whet the appetite for the new year in the Premier League. One half of the season done and dusted, and a second half with a lot on the line to come. Tonight we start at Anfield as Liverpool, who are back up into the top four after 7 games unbeaten now, on a very good run in the Premier League as of recent, but against the Leeds side who made it very tricky for Liverpool just a few weeks ago at Elland Road. It finished 3-3 in the reverse fixture. Anything of the same, and that will be one way to start the new year. Also at 5:30, Crystal Palace taking on Fulham in a London derby. That is at Sellers Park. Crystal Palace side who had a really good 2025, an incredible 2025 by their standards, but didn't end it the way they would have wanted, really, on a poor run of form under Oliver Glasner in the last few days and weeks for them. But it's already been a busy Premier League week in the competition, although all those games took place on Tuesday night. 6 games for you. Newcastle's 3-1 win over Burnley. Chelsea finished 2-2 against Bournemouth, which ended up being Enzo Maresca's last game in charge after his departure from Chelsea this afternoon. What a way to start the new year for the Blues there. It was 2-0 to the Toffees at the City Ground as Nottingham Forest were beaten again by Everton. It finished West Ham 2, Brighton 2. Arsenal putting Aston Villa well to the sword. They were 4-0 up in that game for Ollie Watkins' late consolation. And Manchester United giving Wolves their 3rd point of the season in a 1-1 draw at Old Trafford. They thought they'd won it late, it did Man United, but have finished 1-1. Let's have a look at the two teams then for this one tonight between Liverpool and Leeds. Starting with the home side in Liverpool, Alisson starts in goal. Conor Bradley starts at right back alongside Ibrahima Konate and Virgil van Dijk, with Andy Robertson coming in for Milos Kerkez at left back. Ryan Gravenberch is alongside Curtis Jones, who's had a run of form, and Florian Wirtz, who got his first Liverpool goal last time out against Wolves here to win that game 2-1 against Wolves for Liverpool. Jeremy Frimpong is on the right wing with Mo Salah at the AFCON, already into the knockout stages with Egypt in the AFCON. Dominic Szoboszlai returns from suspension, and Ugo Ekitike, Liverpool's top scorer this season, he starts up front. On the bench for the Reds tonight, looking to make it 8 unbeaten and a good run of form, Omanishvili, Kerkez, Ramsey, Lucky, McAllister, Gakpo, Nyoni, Chiesa and Rio Gamoa. For Leeds United, Perry starts in goal. They've gone for that back 3/back 5 or 3-5-2 we suspect. James Justin comes in at right wing back. Bornau, Biol and Stroik are the back 3, with Gudmundsson at left wing back. Ethan Ampadu, the captain, is in midfield alongside Ilya Gruyev and Anton Stack, and a front 2 of Brendan Aronson and Lucas Mecha. Well, we were expecting another man up front for Leeds tonight, but he is on the bench, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, alongside Darlow, Bogle, Byram, Tanaka, Harrison, Nonto, and Okafor and Joel Peru. It's a Liverpool Leeds. It was a 6-goal thriller in Yorkshire last time out, just a few weeks ago. What will 2026 behold for these two? We'll find out how it starts when kickoff comes in just a few minutes. A very good evening. Welcome to Premier League Live on the first day of 2026. A new year, and hopefully for Liverpool, they're hoping it's a new dawn on what has been a tricky season for the Reds. An up and down set of seasons, a roller coaster really. They started really well, they had that really poor run, and they've seemingly clawed their way back towards the top 4 in this recent run. But they have a tough task against Leeds United here tonight. A good side in good form of their own, unbeaten in the last 5 are Leeds. They're on a good run after a losing streak before this. So both sides in good form as of recent, and a lot to prove tonight. Leeds United will have 1 or 2 fond memories of trips to Anfield, but more often than not, it's gone the way of the home side in these sorts of fixtures. Liverpool in all red, Leeds in all white. Not a kit clash by any stretch of the imagination. And we're going to get ourselves underway here at Anfield for this one. Liverpool, of course, kicking towards the Anfield Road end, as is tradition. And we get ourselves underway. They are at the moment, not underway yet at Sellers Park. That is a 5:30 kickoff, but they are currently having a moment of applause for all those Crystal Palace fans who were lost in 2025, as they do as tradition every year at Crystal Palace in the new year. So that one will get underway momentarily. Two games also later on this evening for you. Sunderland taking on Manchester City is our feature game, but Brentford taking on Spurs. A return to Brentford for Thomas Frank as Spurs manager for the very first time, and we'll see how that fares a little later on. But we're underway here at Anfield, and Liverpool with possession with Alisson to Konate. Fires that down the right hand side, but well intercepted by the Leeds midfield as Bradley's in a tussle. Gudmundsson breaking down the left, and Conor Bradley makes sure he gets no further, although will be an early free kick for Leeds, as Conor Bradley deemed to have fouled Gabriel Gudmundsson there. It's the clash and ease, really. I think it's a little bit harsh to give a corner there, or a free kick there, shall I say, because it's just a real clash and ease between the two players. There wasn't really much intent there from Conor Bradley, but a set piece early, and an area of the game that Liverpool do not fare well defending. 90 seconds going at Anfield. Leeds with their first free kick on this left-hand side. It's Anton Stack, I believe, that's over it. Hands go in the air, right-footed, swung across the area. Punched away by Alisson, as it's tried to find its way back into the box by Aronson, but Liverpool able to repel those efforts. And Dominic Szoboszlai takes it down in his own defensive third and finds a man in space in Conor Bradley. That was nicely defended from Liverpool. Keeper asserting himself in the area, and Liverpool able to deal with the second ball and bring the possession into their own grasp. As we said, the worst team in terms of defending set pieces in the Premier League, and arguably the worst in Europe when defending set pieces. Liverpool at this moment in time, they parted ways with their set piece coach just this week, and maybe that will also change things in terms of defending set pieces. Of course, it goes hand in hand. Defending set pieces, they've been awful, and scoring from them, they've been virtually non-existent, as they give it away cheaply here. Aronson down the left, a flick on by Stack there was intercepted, and Bradley can clear it away. As followed in there was Biol, back to his goalkeeper in Lucas Perry. It was Virgil van Dijk that was caught in possession there a few minutes ago, and Liverpool giving that ball away. Not a man usually dispossessed, certainly not in his own half very often, as that's a long ball over the top. The flick on by Aronson is just into the hands of Alisson. No real worry there. We are underway, by the way, at Sellers Park. Crystal Palace 0, Fulham 0 in that one. Around about 2 minutes behind us, so a minute and a half gone there. 3.5 gone here at Anfield. Here's Curtis Jones. Finds Florian Wirtz. Just about squeezes it into Ekitike's path, who's on the turn and breaking away from markers. Just about laid it off to Szoboszlai. Now Bradley. Out wide to Frimpong. Crowd enjoying this first attacking play from Liverpool. Frimpong. Back to Szoboszlai, who chose too much of the ball there. A little bit sloppy again. It's given away here to Mecha, who's fed it down the right hand side. A chance for Stack to work the ball into the area. That's fed all the way through. Gruev will retrieve on the left channel. Now finding the space. Aronson to run into the area. Frimpong dropping back to help out. Let's work back to Gudmundsson. Now Gruev trying to work the angle for the underlap and run of Gudmundsson. And Konate was there to hoof it behind for the corner. And again, Leeds getting themselves in good positions. Liverpool just really a little bit standoffish really on this one. Not aggressive enough in my opinion. Allowed the 1-2 to happen in and around their own area with no real effort to try and stop the Leeds possession. And the first corner of the night goes the way of the visitors. Short of 5 minutes gone, and Leeds have had the majority of the possession in this final third of Liverpool so far. Whip ball in from the corner, headed away by Van Dijk. Second ball worked back into the area by Aronson and fed across. That was a whipped one, and Gravenberch had to be there to block it at the near post. That was Bernal, the right centre-back for Leeds. Whipping that cross in from Aronson's header. Back-to-back Leeds United corners. As the referee has stoppage for the moment, as Florian Wirtz had a little issue, but he never went down. It seemed to be his nose seemed to be the issue for him. Not too sure what that was about, but Wirtz is okay. Will be needed for this corner to defend. Every Liverpool player back into the box. Leeds of 6 in the middle. Whip ball in from the corner, header down and into the ground and bouncing into the hands of Alisson. No real threat from that, if I'm honest. Liverpool try and spring away. Gravenberch does well to evade the challenge in the midfield. Finds Jones in space central. Down the left channel comes Robertson. Crosses the halfway line. Works it to Wirtz, who finds it back to Curtis Jones. Liverpool quickly into Leeds United's half. Bradley to Frimpong. Returns the ball to Bradley, who takes it in his stride and wins it back nicely off Aronson and flicks it into Frimpong's path. Good link up there as Frimpong lifts it in. Half cleared as Gravenberch shoots. And it's charged down at the edge of the area. Well, Gravenberch opened the scoring for Liverpool on the 27th, just a few days ago, against Wolves. He had the first real effort from the edge of the area there. Here's Robertson. Down the left comes Wirtz. Now Ekitike. Just about linking up with Wirtz there. As Ekitike rolls herself into the area. And the ball almost working its way through. Bornau with a key interception. But Ekitike wanted to go all the way on his own there. And he was just one defender away from getting the way through on Lucas Perry's goal. That's good aggressiveness there from Conor Bradley to try and win the ball. He's given away a throw-in, but the crowd appreciate the effort. You've got to say, one man who I think a lot of Liverpool fans wanted to see doing well is their number 7, Florian Wirtz, his first goal for Liverpool at the weekend, and certainly not for the want of trying in his previous games that he hadn't scored in. Certainly had opportunities. He's got a couple of assists on the board as well in the last few weeks. He's put the effort in and the hard work in every time, but not getting the fruits of his labour just until the last few weeks. A couple of assists and now his first goal for the Reds. He says it took a lot longer than he wanted it to, but now hoping for many more to come. That's what Florian Wirtz said after the Wolves game on Saturday. So far here, Liverpool really haven't had much attacking to do. It's been Leeds that have had the majority of it with a couple of corners, a couple of set pieces, but nothing too dangerous for Alisson to try and stop early. Here's Aronson. Well, albeit it was a 3-3 draw between these two a few weeks ago, the first goal in this match, or in the reverse fixture, didn't come until the 46th minute of the second half, so a goalless first half, which was quite a rarity. And 6-goal thrillers, and of course Ao Tanaka had the final call in 96 minutes to make it 3-3 after Sobersley scored on the verge of 90 to try and win it for Liverpool. Real ping-pong battle at Elland Road. Robertson steps in there to try and win the ball, and will be a Leeds throw as Robertson deemed to have the last touch. Well, thank you all for joining us this evening for this one. It's great to have your company. I do like the stream as well. It does help to grow the stream and get more interaction, more people involved, and certainly with the issues we're having at LFS at the moment, helps us out a lot. Ekitike does well, finds Curtis Jones, back to Ugo Ekitike. Referee says play on. Ekitike beating his man, and the ball drops. It's bouncing around as Leeds clear it away. Wirtz was in there too. Here's Curtis Jones. Liverpool not giving up on this yet. Bradley whips a ball into the area. Bornau with a poor clearance up in the air. He heads it away the second time. Now Gravenberch feeds it out wide to Robertson. Back to Gravenberch. Good energy from Liverpool. Injected that all of a sudden and caused a little bit of a scramble around the Leeds area. They did get it away, the visitors, but certainly came close. Frimpong beating past his man, whips a ball across, off balance, and it just guides its way towards Lucas Perry in the 6-yard area. And a simple gather for the Leeds goalkeeper, but that's a little bit better from Liverpool. And Ugo Ekitike, again, I said a few minutes ago he was trying to work his way into the area. Lovely little backheel linking up with Curtis Jones. Beautiful football. And he works it, gets into the area, trying to beat past his man, chinks him onto his left foot, and then strikes the ball across. The keeper parries it into a dangerous area, and luckily for Leeds United and Lucas Perry, he had help on call to try and keep Liverpool at bay there. Ekitike is a man in form, and a man that certainly rising up the scoring charts. 8 Premier League goals this season and 2 assists in the competition. He's 4th on the Premier League top scorers list this season. Of course, Erling Haaland is top of that chart, no doubt about that. And I'm sure you're not surprised to hear that Igor Thiago of Brentford and Antoine Semenyo, currently of Bournemouth, are the only 3 players to have scored more Premier League goals this season than Ugo Ekitike. And he's registered a goal and an assist, in each of his last 4 games for Liverpool. A total of 5 goals and 1 assist on that run, including 2 against Leeds at Ellen Road. Here's Virgil van Dijk to Curtis Jones. Breaks the lines, finding Ekitike. Nice little lay off the Soberslai now to Weerts. Just out mustered there around the edge of the Leeds area. There's Frimpong on the press. Perry got it away, but not without the nerves. Soberslai finding Weerts, laid it off nicely to Gravenberch. A couple of little link-ups starting to appear for Liverpool in between the lines as Bradley overstepped his mark and Frimpong couldn't retrieve in time before it went out for the Leeds throw. But a couple of link-ups, and certainly in that central area between Weerts, Soberslai and Ekitike, starting to see that trio starting to link up a little bit more for Liverpool. Alexis McAllister on the bench tonight, the Premier League winning midfield last season. Alexis McAllister was alongside Soberslai and Gravenberch. Florian Weerts clearly doing something his manager likes. Ball over the top. Ekitike making the run in behind, holding off his defender. Ekitike in the area, trying to haul him down. Weerts has a shot blocked and cleared away. The referee said play on. Ekitike is furious at the lack of decision. I don't know what he's actually asking for. Beautiful ball in behind by Konate. Ekitike, incredible physicality just to hold off his defender and just couldn't get the shot up, but somehow finds Weerts, who did have the effort. It's really strong centre forward play from Ugo Ekitike. Beale pulling and hauling at him, trying to get him away from the ball as best he could, but he could not hold off the Frenchman, who just tapped it to Weerts, who hit it first time, and a good block, I think, there by James Justin. And in the end, Liverpool threatening, but to no avail. Well, Ugo Ekitike, I think, was claiming that he was fouled, but usually if you don't go down, the referee's not going to give a foul. Very rarely would that ever happen. And the fact that he held off his man and still got a pass, I mean, even if he was fouled, that's still unbelievable from Ekitike. Great centre-forward play as Bradley and Frimpong link up. Leeds got one side of it, fired it out for another throw. So Liverpool don't waste any time in taking. Gravenberch back to Virgil van Dijk. Out to the wide area for Weerts. Steps onto his right foot. Spins away from his man, Weerts, but trying to trick his way down that left channel as he works it back inside. Nicely held up by Curtis Jones, who finds it back to his captain, Van Dijk. Here's Konate. He will ping a ball out to Weerts. Flicks it on nicely. Robertson making the underlapping run, and the defender just got across Andy Robertson. And James Justin wins a free kick there off the Scottish captain. Yeah, the Scotland captain, shall I say. Yeah, Robertson just beaten there by James Justin and threw a little sly arm at him. Very experienced Andy Robertson. Knew exactly what he was doing there. Still goalless in South London between Crystal Palace and Fulham in that London derby to this point, and still goalless here at Anfield after 15 minutes. Liverpool maybe starting to turn the screw a little bit more, pushing forward a little further and getting a little bit more joy towards the final third, but slowly but surely edging their way more into this match here, Liverpool, as Van Dijk does well to work Liverpool out of trouble there in a tight Leeds press. Here's Conor Bradley. Finds Gravenberch. Now across to Van Dijk. Now Robertson. And that was sloppy there from Curtis Jones. He had Ekitike, but it was about 5 seconds too late in playing that pass. Ekitike had already gone past him inside by the time he made that ball. A pretty sloppy one that Curtis Jones knew right away. And I think the microphones on the side of the pitch picked up a disgruntled voice. Liverpool win the throw in here. Down the left. Robertson. Jones. To Konate. Across to Virgil van Dijk. To Curtis Jones. Now Weerts. Well, Weerts clearly out on that left. He can interchange centrally, but looks like his natural setting position when Liverpool are in possession with their defenders is Weerts to go to the left. Then Frimpong hugging that right touchline with Bradley on the underlap. Here is Frimpong finding Bradley, who took a touch, but too heavy of a touch to make any sort of threat from for the Northern Irishman there, and that's gone behind for a goal kick. Clearly Weerts off the left at the minute for Liverpool. Szoboszlai through the middle and Frimpong on the right, and then Ekitike up top for Liverpool. Of course, Cody Gakpo only returning from injury, and he's on the bench tonight. Chiesa, of course, started the last game. Arne Slot looking for something different down that right channel this evening. And Jeremy Frimpong, who played right wing back when he was at Bayer Leverkusen, but has been more of a right back for Liverpool. Solid right back and a back four since coming to the club, but can play right wing, and certainly so far has done a decent job down that right hand side, linking up with his fellow fullback in Conor Bradley. Those two fighting for the same place, but Frimpong finding his options further forward. Here's Robertson down the left hand side to Weerts. Into Jones in the edge of the area on the left hand side, trying to evade three players, and Jones does really well to find Robertson. And back to Weerts. Bodies inside the area for Liverpool. Can they find one of them? Weerts trying his best, but just out muscled. And Szoboszlai does well to help his teammate and win it back. Well, one thing about Florian Weerts is one of the key points was made. He's got tricky feet. He's got all the skills galore. He can set goals up and he can score them too. But a lot mentioned about the physicality of the Premier League that he'd struggle with. Robertson, nice cross, finds Ekitike, just evaded. Curtis Jones as well helping out there as the offside flag goes up. But on Florian Weerts, the physicality of Weerts has been put in question previously, and the point being made that he was too easy beaten off the ball, and when Liverpool did lose the ball with Weerts in very kind of dangerous areas, that's what was not directly but partly a cause to maybe Liverpool being more open and more vulnerable in transition. Of course, they still have a lot of problems in transition, Liverpool, and set pieces certainly the number one issue at the minute for Liverpool, you gotta say. But I think tactically it's about a manager finding a way to allow his player to adapt whilst also trying to get the best out of him. And I think Arne Slot at times has been criticised a lot for really the lack of adaptability at times, and that stubbornness to stick with the same system or to stick with the same kind of outlook in the way he wants his Liverpool team to play. But, you know, maybe we are starting to see with improved performances, and actually I think a lot of Liverpool's problems when they were in that losing run was individual errors, and you know, a manager can't make up for individual errors. And you can take the player out of the team, but if it's different players doing it every week, you really can't do much about that. Jones trying a shot, just took a little deflection, but deflected into the hands of Lucas Perry. Well, 20 minutes on the clock, and becoming a regular tradition at Anfield in what is their 10th home game of the season, remembering their number 20 on the 20th minute. Of course, a real poignant moment on Saturday when Liverpool and Wolves met for the very first time since Diogo Jota's passing in the summer, and a real emotional display of respect from both sets of fans, remembering a player who meant so much to both Liverpool and Wolves at the weekend, and an incredible respectful moment of 60,000 plus inside Anfield, remembering a true great of the Premier League and of those two football clubs, and Liverpool remembering their man again. As Curtis Jones felt he was fouled, and the referee took his time in making the decision, but does eventually give the free kick to the way of the home side. Our referee, by the way, this evening is Chris Kavanagh. VAR's Darren England. Here's Ekitike off the left. Finding Robertson. Back it goes to Van Dijk. Now Konate. Down the right channel is Frimpong. Stepping onto his left. Frimpong works it back to Konate when the press of Leeds was intense there. Not much outlet. Yeah, Liverpool stifled a little bit by Leeds so far. Defensively quite solid. Leeds United, despite conceding 32 goals in their 18 previous Premier League games this season, looking fairly compacted so far, as Robertson shows a little bit too much to his opponents, but Curtis Jones does well to step in and cover the space that would have been left by Robertson, and wins it back for Liverpool. Alisson, nice play down the right hand side, comes Bradley. Look at the space for Bradley down that right touchline. Decides to go back inside to find Konate. Well, Leeds have won just one away league game this season, 2 draws and 6 defeats from their 9 Premier League away games. They've scored 8 goals and conceded 20 of their 32 goals they've conceded this season away from home. That's more than 2 conceded per game on average away from home this season. For Liverpool, it's not been plain sailing at home this season. 6 wins, 1 draw and 2 defeats, which is high for Anfield standards at this point of the campaign. Conceded 10 goals, only scored 15 at home this season in their 10 Premier League games here at Anfield. Liverpool, that's a number they'll want to improve on, but moving themselves up the table in terms of their home form. This is their 10th, as I said, their 10th home game. They would be on 20 points from 10 home games if they were to draw this game this evening. 19 coming into the game. Gravenberch battling, wins back the loose ball. Szoboszlai trying to find targets as Frimpong and Ekitike apply the press as Perry clears away. And Van Dijk dominant once again in the air. Liverpool unable to retrieve the ball on that occasion, though. Get the second ball, which has been another one of those diagnostics that Liverpool have really become accustomed to being criticised for, as lack of ability to win second balls. But Jones did well there. Not quite on the pass, though, as he gives it away. Bernal down the right hand side. Leeds trying to throw 2 bodies at it, but Konate's over there quickly to put it out for the throw. 25 minutes going at Anfield. Liverpool 0, Leeds United 0. So far, Liverpool 64% possession. The XG 0.63 in the home side's favour. The lead is 0.02. Liverpool with 5 shots, Leeds with 1. Liverpool with 2 on target, Leeds with just the 1 on target. So Liverpool looking a little bit stronger to this point of the game, but a long way to go. Still only 25 minutes gone. There's a little issue here for Anton Stack, I believe that is, for Leeds. Got himself back to his feet and should be okay. Well, the last 2 occasions these two have met here, or well actually the last 3, it's been a quite remarkable scorelines, and I'll tell you about those in a moment, because Leeds are going to go for the long throw here. Ethan Ampadu on the right hand side. Still goalless in South London as well, by the way, between Palace and Fulham. Ampadu going for the long throw. Half cleared as Wirtz throws himself out of the back post, and he was caught in the process of trying to clear his lines, or it's Conor Bradley actually, and it's gone for a Liverpool free kick. Yeah, the first header is kind of guided by Ekitike trying to get in there, and he actually guides it on towards the back post, and Bradley throws himself at it. The Leeds player trying to get his foot to the ball, and it's one of those ones where Bradley will always, 9 times out of 10, get the free kick for that, and he does that time. Allison to kick this free kick from inside his own 18-yard area. Up on one by Stack, but bouncing ball will fall for a Liverpool throw. And we talked about Liverpool looking more solid as of recent. Their performances have took an uptick since their 4-3 defeat, or 4-1 defeat, sorry, here at Anfield against PSV Eindhoven in the Champions League. They've gone 7 unbeaten in all competitions, 6 in the Premier League in a row unbeaten, winning 5 of those games in all competitions and 2 draws. The 2 draws coming away at Leeds and at home to Sunderland. But they've won each of their last 4 games in a row coming into this one, and 3 in a row in the Premier League against Brighton, Spurs and Wolves. Of course, that 1-0 win away at Inter is involved in that 4-game winning run. Frimpong down the right channel, whips a ball in. Struijk was there to clear it away for the corner at the back, at the front post. As Frimpong felt that he was pushed trying to cross that ball, and the officials just gave the corner. Yeah, he was pushed. Whether that was a foul or not is another question, but he still got the cross and he still wins the corner. Take what you're given, really, if I'm honest. Corner to Liverpool, the right hand side, and not mistaken, their first corner of the game it is. Defending corners has been a problem, scoring from corners has been another problem. .92 taken this season, just the 1 goal. Ball whipped in, up and away by a myriad of Leeds players in the box as Gravenberch gets a little bit upsetted. But here's a ball by Wirtz, finding Virgil van Dijk in the box. Falls to Ekitike, couldn't get a shot off. As Konate's battling there with Aronson, and body checks Aronson out of the way to win a Liverpool throw, which they take quickly. Crowd reticent to that. Very receptive to Liverpool and their upturning energy. Liverpool a little bit out of shape here. Robertson's playing right back at the minute. Virgil van Dijk stepped back in alongside Konate in their regular positions, but Konate flipping it over the top. Robertson's made a run in behind, and probably should stick to what he's good at there, because that run was quite clearly offside from Andy Robertson. I mean, not a position you see Andy Robertson taking up very often. Centre forward. There's probably a reason why. As Lucas Perry will take this free kick from the offside, right on the edge of his area. As we are about to hit the half-hour mark here at Anfield, Liverpool 0, Leeds 0. Good dominant header by, I think that was Jones. won that header. It's Frimpong tussling, giving away a free kick there, Jeremy Frimpong, which he disagrees with, but he would say that. And a free kick to Leeds, around about the halfway line. Gudmundsson was the player fouled. A little bit of a push there, if I'm honest. Frimpong probably making the claim that he was pushed a few minutes ago, but that one is a foul and the other one wasn't. Sobersley almost heading it on there for Frimpong, but give it away. Here's Gudmundsson down the lefts. Liverpool trying to get bodies back as Aronson feeds it back to Gruev. And Badu working it. But having to come back again to Beal. Beal across to Strike, who was under a little bit of pressure there, forced into the long ball. And no one down that left channel for Leeds, and Connor Bradley retrieves. Allison. Oh, that's an awful ball, and he gets away with it, Allison, but my goodness me, he was risky there. Tried to play it into Curtis Jones, and he absolutely miscued it. And Ethan Ampadu took it first time, and luckily for Allison, it was a straight strike down the throat of the goalkeeper in the end, but that was far too risky from Liverpool's Brazilian goalkeeper. One of those passes you see every now and again in the Premier League. And my goodness, it's an awful ball by Allison. And bailed out by the fact that Ethan Ampadu had the strike first time and really didn't catch it with much venom. Otherwise it could have been more tricky for the Liverpool goalkeeper. In the end, no damage done. Maybe if you're nail biting, a bit of nail biting around the crowd when that was given away, but all without any trouble. Frimpong down the right channel, finding Bradley. Bradley first time across, no one in the middle. Beal a little bit too exuberant as Frimpong tries to win it back. Bradley stepping in as well. Ekitike now, Weerts hasn't got a forward pass on, but Konate's there to step in. Now Gravenberg finding Weerts, trying to poke it through, away by Leeds again. And Konate very aggressive in his challenging. And the referee says no foul, as here's Konate bursting forward. Down the left channel comes Robertson, whips the ball in. And all the way through and out to Frimpong on the right hand side. Steps onto his left foot, has a strike. And Ekitike heads it away from goal. Frimpong and cleared away. I don't know whether Ekitike made any claim to head that ball, but he did. It did come off the head of the Frenchman, and I think if it didn't come off his head, it would have been a better chance to score. Sobersley, Weerts, much quicker from Liverpool. Here's Frimpong. Back to Bradley. Lots of Leeds bodies in and around the edge of their area. Liverpool trying to spread it wide and work it back inside quickly. That's what's creating those gaps between the lines. Runners off the ball. It's looking more positive for the home team, but Leeds hanging on in there at the moment. Bradley, Konate. Konate into Soboslai under a bit of pressure, but the Hungarian able to turn on the ball and give it back to Ibrahima Konate. Ekitike does well, lays it out wide to Frimpong. Back to Gravenberg. Now Van Dijk. Down the left to Robertson, who works it back inside again to Ryan Gravenberg. Tried to go for the line-breaking pass, but couldn't find any of the three red shirts that were his options there as Liverpool pressed to win it back again, and Frimpong doing very well there, forcing Leeds into a awkward clearance. Bradley, tricky little position, does well. They evade the challenges. Curtis Jones now. Gravenberg to Konate. Out wide it goes to Frimpong, who just evaded his man, but couldn't evade the offside flag. Well, we see this. Ekitike chance again. Robertson with the ball in, goes all the way through. Frimpong then works it back outside, but he steps onto his left, goes towards goal. I think it was going wide, and Ekitike heads it away from goal. He does Leeds is defending for them there. Ekitike just gets the angle all wrong of the header. And anywhere towards goal, that header, and it would have been 1-0 to Liverpool, but Ekitike, unfortunately for him, the header was away from goal. Konate with a good step-in challenge. Needed to, as there was threat in behind, and now Liverpool can try and spring away. And look at Frimpong with a pace down the right, leaving Strike for dead. Frimpong looking for his options, works it across the Weerts, takes a touch, not given the time. And Leeds just about getting bodies in there, and they'll get the free kick for a foul. Look at this. Sobersley, lovely pass down the right-hand side, and Frimpong gets the afterburners on. Strike has absolutely no chance, and then the ball back to Weerts. He just has to try and control it. And luckily for Leeds, they get bodies back in time, but they get Frimpong in 1v1 positions, Liverpool. He can be a major threat, and there was an example of it. 1v1 versus a Leeds centre-back, and pace was never a competition there. He has looked bright down that right flank, has Jeremy Frimpong to this point, as that ball into the area of Liverpool is nicely guided towards Alisson, who lets rip quickly, but couldn't find Ugo Ekitike. Throw in to Leeds. Liverpool looking more of a threat. Arne Slot, I think, hoping that his side can find the breakthrough. They've done everything but find the breakthrough. Dominated possession, the shots on target, the touches in the opposition box. It's been all reflective of a controlled home performance to this point. The scoreline is the only thing that lacks the Liverpool advantage. As referee said play on, as Leeds wanted a foul for a little push by Weerts, but referee did say nothing in it. 8 minutes to go before half time. Here's Connor Bradley, unleashed down that right channel. Frimpong for support, but he doesn't need him. He's going himself there, Bradley. Just run out of steam as he got down the right channel. And Frimpong there tracking back, helping out. And Brendan Aronson runs it out of play. Liverpool throw. Yeah, you gotta say, so far it's been positive, but as I said, Liverpool fans will know too well this season when they've had positive performances and not able to find the first goal, and that's a worry. It would be a worry for Liverpool. Just need to find that goal to settle themselves a little more and give themselves that clear lead in the game, because they've been the better side so far. Here's Robertson, Weerts, Robertson, now Curtis Jones, and Weerts trying to find Robertson in behind. It was a nice idea again. Leeds quick to it, but now Gravenberch and Robertson's cross. The flag did go up, and the referee will call for offside now, as Robertson, I don't think, got himself back on into an onside position. Just stepped back offside, did Robertson there. Yeah, just a little bit, just a tiny little bit, not by much. And he did step himself back offside. Well, a reminder for you, a second game to come for you tonight. Sunderland taking on Manchester City as our second of our New Year's Day doubleheader. The perfect way to start 2026 in the Premier League. Liverpool Leeds, followed by Sunderland Manchester City from 8 o'clock. And we didn't actually show you some of our new graphics. The team news, the teams on the left hand side, but also the live stats, the live league table on the left hand channel. We'll tell you all about that, but we'll show you the teams for now. I'm sure you've been keeping a very close eye on the scores across this festive period in the Premier League, a very busy festive period. Here come Leeds. Challenge at the edge of the area, and the referee is going to pull it back for, or he's actually going to stop the game for a head injury. He wanted a foul, Leeds, but the referee has paused the game. I'm trying to see who it is. It might be Soboslai is down. It is. Yeah, he just kind of clipped in the face there by Anton Stack. Accidental, I think, but Anton Stack there making Soberslai stack it, shall I say. He's alright. He should be okay, but he's being checked upon for the moment. We have a goal at Sellers Park to tell you about. And Crystal Palace, who haven't really been in their perfect form as of their standards of 2025 in recent weeks, have now gone 5 without a win in all competitions, but they have taken the lead and hit the front at Sellers Park. It's Jean-Philippe Mateta who has given Crystal Palace the lead in the London derby against Fulham. Across from the right-hand side, and he was the only man at the back post to head it into an empty net. Keeper completely beaten. And Jean-Philippe Mateta has given Crystal Palace the lead. 1-0 to Palace. Really good goal from Crystal Palace. Yeah, it's ball down that right-hand side. And it's Nathaniel Klein, the former Liverpool player, of course. Works to the edge of the area. Beautiful cross and a wonderful delivery, meeting the head of a dominant striker. And the Fulham keeper, Bern Leno, had absolutely no chance there. And Mateta with his goal. Well, Liverpool are going to get the game back underway here. After that Dominic Szoboszlai head injury, he's okay. And that's actually Jean-Philippe Mateta's first goal since a 2-1 defeat against Man United for Palace in late November. And that was a penalty. His last open play goal for Palace was on the 1st of November, exactly 2 months to the day when they beat Brentford by 2-0. And he has Palace in front in South London. Here it remains goalless between Liverpool and Leeds, but Liverpool have a free kick on the right hand side, and it's Dominic Szoboszlai that's over it. 3 minutes to go, plus the additional time that we will have at the end of this first half. Remains goalless. Szoboszlai, right-footed delivery into the area. Van Dijk gets his head to it, but can't get it anywhere near the goal. Goal kick. Yeah, good ball in, a loop and cross, and Van Dijk just doesn't really get above it, which is a surprise when it comes to Van Dijk. The ball just doesn't dip enough for him to just kind of guide that header down. He kind of just bounces off the head of Van Dijk and loops behind for a goal kick, but decent delivery from Szoboszlai. Nothing on the end of it. As Perry will take this goal kick for Leeds. Both teams missed the header on that one. It will go out for a Liverpool throw. Robertson. Jones to Weerts, back to Robertson. Robertson back to Virgil van Dijk. Konate. Firing that one through. That's a lovely ball by Konate. Here's Ekitike into the area trying to find a pass. Found it to Jones. Couldn't quite get it to Weerts. Szoboszlai recycles. Now Robertson. Weerts. Works it back to Szoboszlai. Great ball by Konate to find Ekitike in behind. Just carried it a little bit wide, did the Frenchman. Here's Curtis Jones. Which meant he had to find another pass. Here's Gravenberch. That pass by Jones just took the sting out of the Liverpool attack there, as they had to go all the way back to Allison to reset, really. Last minute of the first 45 here at Anfield. Liverpool 0, Leeds 0. Liverpool have been on top, but the scoreline is the most important factor, and it remains goalless. Konate again with another right ball here. Frimpong this time the target. And Jeremy Frimpong winning Liverpool a corner off Gabriel Gudmundsson. It's nice play there from Liverpool down that right channel. Couple of those passes from Konate this evening. In behind, ball over the top, diagonal ball out wide. He's sprayed the passes about as Liverpool's number 5. Let's see what they can do from this corner as we will go into 2 additional minutes at the end of the first half. Liverpool corner on the right hand side. Right footed delivery, looped into the area, missing the head of everyone as Wirtz gets it to the back post and slices that one well over the crossbar. Goal kick. Yeah, good delivery again by Soboslai, but no one really getting up and high enough to reach it. Sails all the way through to Wirtz at the back post and a miscued strike, which sees Arne Slot a little bit frustrated. And he will know that his team have played better in this first half, but we'll know they'll need to keep that effort up and maybe even better than what they've seen in this first half to try and go on and win this game. And also keep up the fact that Leeds really haven't had major threat in front of goal either. But here they come down the right side. Metch's cross is not a bad one, but no one anywhere near threatening there from Lucas Metch's delivery. Goal kick. Well, Liverpool, of course, with their recent run of form in the Premier League, 3 wins in a row, have pushed themselves right back up into the top 4, which is a much more positive sign. They, at one point this season, were as low as 11th or 12th in the Premier League, so it shows you how compact and tight the Premier League is this season. They win this evening with Aston Villa losing and Man City still to play. Liverpool could close the gap if they win this evening to 5 points on City, 4 points on Villa. Of course, City will have still a game to play, but that would be the ultimate outcome if Liverpool were to win this evening. And they would open that gap actually below them if they were to win this evening, Liverpool, to 5 points. With Chelsea dropping points and Man United both dropping points and drawing their respective games this midweek. Liverpool, who already had a 2-point lead on their opponents coming into this match week, would now have a 5-point lead if they were to win this evening. But half-time is just gone. The half-time whistle has just been sounded. An end to a first half that Liverpool have been arguably the better team with their performance, but so far the scoreline doesn't lie, and at half-time there is nothing to separate Liverpool and Leeds at Anfield. Half-time, it's Liverpool 0, Leeds United 0. Sure, one last kick. This is gonna be it. This is the moment. Vicario kicks this, and Liverpool are there! Liverpool are Premier League champions! And there it comes! Crystal Palace, for the very first time in their history, are FA Cup winners! Oh, he's found the net! Oh, what a goal! Kvaratskhelia is through, wants to add a 4th, and does so! Ahmad, oh my goodness me! That is absolutely unbelievable. Rice again. Oh! You thought he couldn't beat the first one. He's gone and bettered it. Another whip ball in. The header is in by Virgil van Dijk. Incredible. Welcome back to Premier League Live. Half-time at Anfield. It's Liverpool 0, Leeds United 0. At the break, Liverpool looking on top, but at the moment it is goalless between these two. On Merseyside, it is 1-0 to Crystal Palace against Fulham at Sellers Park. In that one, Jean-Philippe Mateta with his goal to give Crystal Palace the lead, and what they're hoping is a return to winning ways. It's been a busy last few days, and they ended 2025. The first set of Premier League fixtures this match week. Newcastle winning by 3-1 at Burnley. Chelsea drawing 2-2 with Bournemouth at Stamford Bridge, which ended up being Enzo Maresca's last game in charge of the Blues. Everton winning by 2-0 against Nottingham Forest. West Ham 2, Brighton 2. It finished in East London. Arsenal 4-1 winners against Aston Villa. They were 4-0 up in that game, Arsenal, all the goals coming in the second half. And that one, Aston Villa thoroughly thumped by the Gunners. And Manchester United unable to put Wolves to the sword, and Wolves got their third point of the season. Only their third point of the season after 19 games. They finished 1-1 at Old Trafford on Tuesday night. 2 games to come for you a little later as we watch Brentford taking on Spurs, but our feature game is from the Stadium of Light as Sunderland host Manchester City. That is at 8 o'clock this evening. That one kicks off from up in Wearside, and we're hoping by that point that we've got maybe a goal in our game. Of course, that game will be done by then, but you know what I mean. And then tomorrow night, we're back in action as the Irish Premiership debuts with us here in LFS as Larne take on Coleraine. Battle for the title. Larne have got all the advantages, all the cards, but can Coleraine pull off an upset at Inver Park? We'll find out. That's tomorrow at 7:45 on LFS. But still to come, the second half at Anfield. Liverpool 0, Leeds 0. Is there some action in the second half? We'll find out. Stay with us. Welcome back to Premier League Live. Second half between Liverpool and Leeds on the way very shortly. A reminder of the stats from that first half for you, as you can see on that left-hand side of your screen. Liverpool was 67% possession, so 2/3 of the ball for the home team. An XG of 1.55 for Liverpool compared to Leeds' 0.52. 9 shots to Leeds' 2, 3 on target to Leeds' 2, and Liverpool with the one big chance, 2 corners apiece as well. So pretty in control Liverpool at the moment, but the scoreline doesn't reflect that, and I'm sure Arne Slot will be tweaking things, figuring a way of trying to give his side a little bit of an extra advantage against Leeds in the second half to try and turn this game in the home side's favour. They've had chances, they've had opportunities, they just haven't been able to convert any of those up to this point. As it stands in the Premier League table, Liverpool would stay fourth. They won't be moving up or down no matter what happens tonight. They will stay fourth at the end of this match week, Liverpool. But they can close the gap to that cohort at the top 3 if they come away with 3 points tonight. And they can try and push themselves closer to getting a bit more comfort in the top 4 race in the race for Champions League football. The title, of course, is probably more or less gone, I would suspect, and probably gone a good few months ago in the way that their performance has turned around this season. But let's see, will they be able to turn this half-time draw into a full-time victory, Liverpool, to start 2026, or will Leeds kick off the new year with a real upsetting result in the Premier League? 2025 was full of those types of results. It'll be more of the same in the new year. I remember a New Year's Day game between Liverpool and Newcastle. I don't know if that was last year or the year before, but they won by 4-2. It was a crazy game. Liverpool had so many chances. Now here's good football from Liverpool. Here's Weerts into the area, tried to back heel it to Robertson, just undercooked it, And Leeds able to intercept, but Frimpong does well battling to win it. Back again, that was nicely done. Breaking into the area. Frimpong out wide to Weerts. Flicked in by Robertson. And unable to find a man in the middle. As that one's cleared away, but a positive start from Liverpool in the first minute of the second half. They are still at the half-time break in South London between Crystal Palace and Fulham. Palace lead by a goal to nil. We'll tell you when that second half gets underway, and any further updates from that game as the night goes on. Here is Virgil van Dijk to Ibrahima Konate. Van Dijk down the left channel. Weerts, Robertson, Jones. Well, one thing about Liverpool's play tonight, a lot of the positives that you can display from Liverpool, their passing's been sharper in moments, but you also got to point out the energy, the extra little bit of tempo in Liverpool's game. Some have probably regarded some Liverpool games this season as boring, slow, a little bit lethargic at times, laboured from Liverpool in possession, but really a lot of the positives that has gone around their possession and their play tonight has been about how quick they've moved the ball and how much movement there's been in between the lines, and much more like a team that wants to dominate the possession and constantly find a way around their opponents. And Connor Bradley there stepping in to try and win it back off Gudmundsson, but Leeds win a throw in. Looking a lot more, I don't want to say Liverpool-like, but you know what I mean. Liverpool, that high energy, high tempo football. So used to seeing over the last decade here at Anfield. We've seen a little bit more energy from Liverpool in terms of their tempo in and out of possession tonight so far. As I said, all that's well and good if the goals come with it. So far they haven't tonight. Here's Brendan Aronson. Does well to hold off the ball as Gruyev feeds it back to Biol, and now Struijk just gets onto his ball as he feeds it out to Gudmundsson. Now Brendan Aronson leads with a bit of possession here. Pushed back into their own half by Ekitike as Biol lays it off to Ampadu, who does get it to Bornau, but Liverpool trying to press that. Weerts was in the mix there, but Leeds very confident in their possession in their own half. They're under pressure, and they shouldn't be because they've given it away cheaply there. Bradley, Frimpong can't get past his man. That was nicely recovered by Gruyev. And Ryan Gravenberch should have dealt with that one. He does. And gets it back to Alisson under no real duress. Good to see Leeds fighting for the ball a little bit more in the second half. I kind of think they stood off a little bit on Liverpool in that first half. Were a little bit standoffish, a little bit, yeah, you have the ball, let's see what you can do with it. And I think at times that can massively, this season, hinder Liverpool quite a lot. But they did decently well under the circumstances, Liverpool. I think Leeds need to be a little bit more aggressive in trying to win the ball, trying to be more possessive with the ball, have the ball a little more, try and test Liverpool in awkward areas. So far really haven't done that. Here's Robertson, Weerts, back to Van Dijk. Weerts tried to lay it off, but without looking where he was trying to play the ball as Gravenberch tried to rescue him. Leeds able to retrieve. As Frimpong backtracking against Gudmundsson. Gudmundsson holding off his man well, and Frimpong, who toe-to-toe with him at this minute in time. They're still tussling, those two, and Gudmundsson lays it off but gives it away to Bradley, who oversteps his mark. And Liverpool were able to retrieve it there as Gravenberch was also caught. And Bradley is still down. See this again. Bradley strides away, but he kind of oversteps his ball and Struijk right on him. Try and get the ball. He wins all ball strike. Just kind of takes Connor Bradley out in the process, but that's not a foul. And then Gravenberch steps away from Gudmundsson and was taken down a little bit cynically there by the Leeds defender, but wounded soldiers there for Liverpool. They're both up and fine. to continue. Allison. Curtis Jones. Back to Allison, who will loop it up the field. Sekatike looking for the flick on. Couldn't quite get his head to it. Falls back to Robertson, looking for the right outlet of pass. Going for the switch ball that he overhit Sandy Robertson. Connor Bradley too far inside the field to get on the end of that one, and goes out for a Leeds throw. Liverpool a little bit looser with the possession, shall I say, putting it nicely, at the start of this second half. The ball back to Perry. Nice stroke. Gudmundsson did well to attract the Liverpool press. Konate won the ball but couldn't find a teammate. Again, that second ball issue for Liverpool, unable to keep possession in those moments. Here's Brendan Aronson. Steps onto his right foot. Inside he goes, trying to lay it off Ampadu, who couldn't find an outlet. And Weerts unable to find any sort of pass forward. That's better from Leeds. Maybe Liverpool fallen into familiar traps that they have been kind of victim of before. The crowd trying to give their team a helping hand here as the ball in behind for Mecha is too narrow. Easily caught by Allison as it arrives into his area. No real threat on that one. Now they are back underway, by the way, at Sellers Park. Crystal Palace 1, Fulham 0 in that one. Here is Gravenberg. Out to Robertson. Back to Virgil van Dijk. Weerts lays the ball off with his back to goal. Weerts receives it in again. Does Jones. Now Robertson. Back to Curtis Jones. Nice poke ball. Finds Ekitike. Szoboszlai doing well as Gravenberg spreads it wide to Frimpong. Frimpong going for the early cross. Szoboszlai was trying to get himself in the mix there as Robertson retrieves. Liverpool trying to push on to Leeds a little bit more again. Here's Jones. Looping the ball into the area. Ekitike got his head to that one. Couldn't quite direct it. Ekitike across again. And it will be a corner. See it again. It's Connor Bradley that gets himself in the mix there. I thought that was Ugo Ekitike. Got that all wrong. And Connor Bradley was the one on the end of that. Quite incredible. Won the corner. Liverpool have taken it short. Here's Gravenberg. Got options in the middle if he can find someone. Works it back out wide to Szoboszlai. Back to Gravenberg. Szoboszlai now finds the space inside to go. To loop it into the area. And Van Dijk was there at the back post, but it came off a Leeds head. In Anton Stack behind for the corner. First corner of the second half, and Szoboszlai's floated effort into the area. Off the head of Stack as he knew what was behind him in Virgil van Dijk. Corner delivered in first time. Bradley unable to get on the end of that one as it falls to Szoboszlai. Chooses to recycle. Looping it out wide. Nice little flick ball. As Jones now finds it off to Bradley. Whose strike took a deflection. Another Liverpool corner. Yeah, see Szoboszlai here. Just flips it over the top. Nice layout wide to Weerts, who cuts it back to Bradley on the edge of the area. Working the angle, trying to find that shooting opportunity, and does get the shot off. Deflected behind by Leeds for another Liverpool corner. As Robertson comes over to take this one. Short of 10 minutes going to the second half. Liverpool trying to turn the screw with a couple of set pieces. Robertson, fizz ball in. Just cleared away. There's a Leeds player down in the area, but the referee is now going to stop it. He was hesitant there for a moment, Chris Kavanagh, but it is James Justin who's down. And the referee just pausing the game for a moment to make sure that the Leeds man is okay. We'll see what happened. Oh, he was just kind of body checked by his own man there in B-all, just accidentally, was James Justin. There was really nothing in it, but had to make sure he was okay, the referee, and he is. Drop ball goes Liverpool's way as they had control of the possession when the referee stopped the game. Here's Konate. Wide to Connor Bradley, who slipped there a little bit, but he got himself back to his feet and overhit that ball through the lines. Just a little bit more bit part this game. A bit more broken in the second half, and Liverpool did have a little spell there, but they had the back-to-back corners and the set pieces pushing up the field against Leeds, but to no real avail again, and albeit a better performance, but again, lack of cutting edge at the minute from Liverpool in the final third, and referee's given a free kick. Lucas Mecha fouled by Virgil van Dijk. Yeah, you could probably argue Van Dijk just a little bit too aggressive on that one. Free kick to Leeds, around about the centre circle. Anton Stack looking for his options. Pings one forward into the Liverpool area, away by Soberschlei, helped along by Ekitike Van Dijk, and Van Dijk did well to battle for the ball and won the throw-in. Yeah, it was good. Really good play again from Virgil van Dijk, who sitting in midfield at the minute, conversing with his teammates. Not in a major hurry to get back to position as the Liverpool captain, but here come Liverpool down the left. Robertson stepping inside, the space opened up there. Ekitike trying to backheel it. No one there again, and but a Leeds player. Liverpool a little bit sloppy, giving it away cheaply there. Here's Mecha. He's got Konate for company. Veert stepping back as Liverpool drop everybody back into position and push Leeds back to their own defenders. Beale. Tension growing at Anfield as Beale's ball over the top. Easily be seen out by Robertson for a goal kick. You just feel Liverpool, their fans, maybe just on this moment where they know a turning point is coming in this game, whether it be for them or against them very soon, and all these fans hoping that it goes the way they want it to go. As many times this season it's not gone that way in these close games. Certainly more recent times maybe has gone their way, but these tight games, Liverpool have been the better team, you could, no doubt about that argument, but again the final third need to be more threatening and certainly need to test the goalkeeper more, as Weerts does well to get it out of a tight pocket. And Ekitike couldn't hold his run. Offside flag goes up. And it was good play again from Liverpool in the midfield, but it's just been one of those nights where it's been a little bit lacklustre in the final third and up front, and Ekitike's not had his best game. Whether he was onside there, are question marks over that offside call. It was very close. He does have options off the bench, Arne Slot, if he needs to go to the bench. A commodity that he really hasn't, a luxury that he really hasn't had over the last few weeks or so, with Gakpo having been out and other players either suspended or injured. Like a few of the players actually out there this evening. Soberschlei was suspended. Bradley and Frimpong have had their spells out of the team with injury. That's a good challenge by Gravenberch. Wins it back high. Here's Ekitike, sloppy on the ball. Again, showing a little bit too much to his defenders at the minute, Ekitike. He's being dispossessed. It's not very much in his nature as of recent. Here's Weerts. Does well. Now finds Soberschlei. Told to shoot by the crowd. Does shoot. Lucas Perry there to parry it away. That's got the crowd up. And the referee's actually going to give a free kick, I believe. And a yellow card. Ethan Ampadu's going to get a yellow. I don't know what that's come about of. We'll see it again. And he uses his hand to actually get it away from the Leeds box, but is it intentional? Well, that effort from Soberschlei, he can hit them from distance, and he did have a go there. Told by the crowd, and he happily obliged, did the Hungarian, but Lucas Perry parrying it away. That's a Easy one for me to say. Well, that's Ethan Ampadu's 5th yellow card of the season, but we've bypassed the threshold of match bans for 5 yellow cards. It's up to 10 now after Leeds. This is their 19th game. So they won't pay the price for that, Leeds, but Ethan Ampadu with his 5th yellow card of the season, and Liverpool with a free kick around about the edge of the area. 61 minutes gone, Liverpool 0, Leeds 0. Liverpool again on the ascendancy, shall I say, and on the front foot in this second half, but again, unable to find a way past this Leeds defence. There's going to be more yellow cards coming out. The referee threw his yellow card into the air. I don't know who he was giving it to, but there was another yellow card handed out there by Chris Kavanagh. Confirm that for you in a second, as Szoboszlai has the... Oh, looked like Szoboszlai was going to take it. It's gone to Wirtz, 19 yards out, literally a yard outside the penalty area on the left-hand side. 5-man wall for Leeds. Florian Wirtz flips it, hits the wall, bounces back out. Gravenberg works it to Frimpong. And back to Konate. All that build-up hits the wall. Tough angle to beat there, you gotta say. Here's Wirtz. We'll reverse the cross in. All the way through it goes. And I think there was a foul in there on Biol, which is going to get Leeds a free kick. Well, Jakob Biol was given the yellow card. I said that Chris Kavanagh had handed out a few more yellows. Well, Jakob Biol got his first yellow card of the season for delaying the restart, which is going over to the free kick takers before the free kick was taken, and the referee did not hesitate to give him a yellow card. So Jakob Biol in the book for time wasting. Well, looks like Milos Kerkez is getting himself ready for Liverpool. We'll see what other interchanges that Arne Slot might want to make. Sure, he will want to make more than just one at the moment, as Gravenberg tried to fire that ball through the middle. He did well to win it back again, and Frimpong and Wirtz linking up really nicely as Wirtz lays it in for Frimpong. Tries the cross, it bounces around Ekitike, just beaten to it by a Leeds man. I think that took a deflection. It looked like it did. I think they've given a goal kick. See that again, Wirtz and Frimpong, they know each other like the back of each other's hand. Incredible. Their link up down that right hand side, and Frimpong's ball into the area, miscued by Stack trying to clear it, or Biol, sorry, trying to clear it away. And Ekitike, I thought he was just beaten to it by a Leeds defender. I thought it was going to be a corner, but it seemed to have given it as a goal kick with the last touch off Ugo Ekitike. So goal kick is the decision, as movement on the Liverpool bench. We saw Milos Kerkez getting himself ready, and Alexis McAllister looks like he's going to join him very shortly. Some fresh legs for the Liverpool manager. Szoboszlai right down the touchline. Frimpong with a nice little flick, but Ekitike just applying pressure on the Leeds defence to win a throw in. Again, they're turning the screw a little bit, Liverpool, but unable as still to find the back of the net. 5 shots, 1 on target in this second half. Leeds with 0 shots, 0 on target so far, as we hit the 65th minute. Gravenberg just holding it off nice. He picks up the loose ball. Nice little 1-2 with Ekitike, but tried to beat his man and felt he was pushed and fouled, but referee says no, and Stack lays it for Brendan Aronson. He's got Mecha on the chase as a few Leeds players into the box. And Aronson couldn't find his man, and Frimpong was fouled by Gudmundsson. Free kick to Liverpool. And here come the changes. Well, one man we didn't see getting ready is Cody Gakpo. He's going to be joining the fray as well. So a triple substitution for Arne Slot. Milos Kerkez is going to be a straight swap at left back for Andy Robertson. Florian Wirtz, despite scoring last time out, he's not going to get a chance to make it 2-2. He's coming off. He's going to be replaced by Cody Gakpo. And Curtis Jones is going to be replaced by Alexis McAllister. So a triple change for Liverpool. Jones, Wirtz and Robertson all off. Kerkez, Gakpo and McAllister all on. And that is the luxury of the Liverpool squad, making those changes. Some returning from injury and some just making their way back into the team. McAllister and Kerkez, who both started the Wolves game, just whether given a rest or dropped, whatever it may be, but to say rest seemed pretty pre-planned to have this right on 65. It's Leeds readying some changes as well, and that man Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who we were a little surprised to see not in the starting 11 tonight for Leeds, but he is going to make an appearance very shortly. Here is Van Dijk, finding McAllister for his first touches, lays it off to fellow substitute Milos Kerkez, who then lays it off to the third of the substitutes in Gakpo, and then Kerkez trying to whip it across. Took a deflection into the hands of Lucas Perry. All three subs there for Liverpool involved in that little attack in motion that ends into the keeper's hands. Perry fires forward long and going for the little 1-2 with Alisson, as Alisson gathers and lays it out to Virgil van Dijk. Quarter of the game to go, 67 gone, 23 plus additional time to go. Liverpool 0, Leeds United 0. A tight game in scoreline and nothing else really. Liverpool have been on top right the way through, but no breakthrough in front of goal as of yet. Gakpo lays it back to Kerkez. McAllister back to Van Dijk. Just trying to probe their way around this Leeds defence, Liverpool. As I said, no avail as of yet. Kerkez trying to whip the cross in. Took a deflection which allowed it to come towards Ekitike, who had no touch on that one. It will be a corner. The crowd very much right behind their team. Can that famous cop end drag another goal into the back of the net? It has done so many times before when Liverpool need it to. Just going to take their time on the corner. So it was like making sure the ball's in the right spot before he tries to deliver this one. Right footed, he's looped it into the area. And it's gone all the way through off a Leeds head. Corner it is. Everybody was just leaving the area there. I think they all felt it was a goal kick, but corner has been given. It remains Crystal Palace 1, Fulham 0 in that London derby at Sellers Park. Jean-Philippe Mateta's goal, the difference between the two sides there in South London. Goalless here between Liverpool and Leeds on New Year's Day in the Premier League. Sobersley, right-footed delivery, looped into the air again. Van Dijk heads it down and bounces up and wide. That was a chance. A massive one for Virgil van Dijk. He had a header earlier that was nowhere near his efforts. And my goodness, that one was trademark Virgil van Dijk. And he just couldn't direct it past Lucas Perry and between the sticks. Goal kick. And Leeds making a double change then. Dominic Calvert-Lewin coming on. He's replacing Lucas Mecha. And the second substitution for Leeds is going to see Brendan Aronson replaced by Noah Okafor. So Calvert-Lewin and Okafor on, Mecha and Aronson off. Attacking changes for the visitors. Not surprising at this stage of the game. 70 gone. Remains goalless. Will it come down to one goal that decides this matchup? Quite the opposite of the reverse. As a reminder for you that we've got more Premier League football for you a little later. Sunderland against Manchester City is an 8 o'clock kickoff from the Stadium of Light. We'll have that game, team news and all of that is in already, and we'll tell you that very shortly. And that game coming up at 8 o'clock. Do stay with us for that in about an hour's time, after we conclude our adventures here at Anfield. Ethan Ampadu going for that long throw, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin Works his way into the box towards Milos Kerkez at the back post. That seems like a bit of a mismatch. No offence to Milos Kerkez. Ethan Ampadu, long throw towards the front post. Flicked on in the area away by Frimpong. Gakpo trying to hang on the end of that dropping ball, and Ampadu's ball in behind is dealt with by Van Dijk. And now Kerkez has got a bit of space down the left. He's not going to burst forward just yet as he finds Gravenberch. Now Konate. A reminder of the team, I'll tell you about the teams from the Stadium of Light. Robin Roofs is in goal for Sunderland. Hume, Mukiele, Alderete, Serkin and Gertrude, I believe, are back five. Xhaka and Lufay maybe in midfield. Adingra, Mayenda and Brobby are the Sunderland team for City. Donnarumma in goal, Nunez, Diaz, Ake, O'Reilly in defence, Gonzalez, Bernardo Silva and Phil Foden in midfield, Cherky, Savinho and Haaland up front. As Frimpong's attempt of a run there from Bradley's ball is just overhit. So that game coming up at 8 o'clock along with Brentford against Spurs. Brentford, of course, against their former manager tonight in Thomas Frank, of course currently in charge of Tottenham Hotspur. A Spurs side who, in the bottom half of the table, Brentford are a point ahead of Spurs going into tonight's fixture. That's a real interesting one in that one. That's and also an 8 o'clock kickoff. McAllister, Soboslai. Frimpong works it back to Connor Bradley. Can Liverpool find the breakthrough here? They haven't done so in 72.5 minutes. Is there another one of those late tales here at Anfield on the cards tonight? Here's Frimpong. Works it back inside to Konate now. Van Dijk, McAllister, Kerkez. Down the left side is Gakpo onto his right foot. Gakpo strides back inside, trying to evade players. Lays it back out wide to Kerkez. Now linking up with Ekitike, who will hit one from distance. And hits it off target. Nice little switch up there from Ekitike. Laid it up for himself and he just couldn't put enough curl on it. More of a straight strike rather than anything else, and it goes straight wide for a goal kick. Reminder for you, it is Crystal Palace 1, Fulham 0 at this minute in time. Jean-Philippe Mateta's goal the difference. Oh wait, Fulham are in the mix in that game. Certainly competitive. Gravenberch, Soboslai back to Connor Bradley and all the way back to Allison. Can they find a chink in what has been a pretty solid Leeds armoury tonight, defensively anyway? It's Allison towards that left channel for Gakpo. Kerkez gets himself up to win the header. Ampadu trying to battle. Gakpo does well physically as Soboslai flips it in behind. A couple of runners for Liverpool as the awkward clearance by Biol. Frimpong keeps it alive down the right channel. Under pressure is Gudmundsson, who does really well to evade Frimpong's pressure. Now Okafor trying to break down the left. Nicely intercepted by Gravenberch. And Liverpool trying to get on the front foot again. Helped along by the crowd. Nice ball by Soboslai. Finds Kerkez. A space down that left is gaping. Finds Gakpo. Onto the inside. Gakpo trying to hit a strike. Was blocked. Deflected. Bradley gets involved. And I think there's going to be a foul against the Liverpool here, which the crowd aren't too much of in agreement with the referee there. Yeah, Gakpo steps inside. You could probably predict what was going to happen there, and then Bradley tussling for the ball with Gudmundsson. Yeah, kind of just barges into Gudmundsson. It's a fair it's a good decision by the referee, if I'm honest. And it is a free kick to Leeds. The stats are pretty one-sided. I've mentioned that before. 68% possession for Liverpool. That's actually more than they had in the first half. So they've become more dominant with the ball in this second period. XG is almost 2, 1.82. and a total of 16 shots, but just the one shot on target in the second half from their 7 efforts maybe is the little bit of a downturn, and they will try and turn to more attacking options. Federico Chiesa is going to be the next man to try and enter the fray to make a difference for Liverpool with 14 minutes or so to go, but more defending for Liverpool to do. Ethan Ampadu with another one of those long throw efforts will be coming very soon. He's got the ability. Can he get the accuracy on this one, Ampadu? Everybody back again for Liverpool. Ampadu launching it into the area. There's 2 Liverpool players got on the end of that one. Bradley and Konate getting their heads to it. Strike was in the mix. Out for the corner. Yeah, did well there, Liverpool, defensively. They have a corner to defend. Leeds got their late equaliser at Elland Road through Ao Tanaka from a corner in the 96th minute. They've got a man who's very dominant in the air on the pitch now, Dominic Calvert-Lewin for Leeds. Stack's delivery punched away by Allison as Liverpool try and push out from that moment. Fed back wide to Stack. Stack trying to whip a cross in. Reach the edge of the area. Space out wide here for Leeds. Okafor trying to guide it across, away by McAllister. Stack trying to keep it alive as Bradley clears his lines. It's got a bit bobbly as Konate was beaten to it by Calvert-Lewin, but the Frenchman did well under pressure. Gakpo. Szoboszlai. Kierke's back to Van Dijk, and that was nice play from Liverpool to break away from that Leeds press. Here's Gakpo down the left channel. He's got Kierke's on the overlap, takes that option, finds Ekitike. He really hasn't got much on there and is going to be dispossessed pretty comfortably. I think Ugo Ekitike is running on pure oxygen right now. He's looks a little bit lost out there, I think. Ekitike, I think his race has been run, if I'm honest. Federico Chiesa will be joining us very soon. He was getting ready a few minutes ago. The next break and play, I'm sure he will join us. Excuse me. And the referee is going to play on. Well, the crowd aren't happy. The referee was allowing them to take subs because the crowd felt that it was holding on to the ball too long, Lucas Perry. Liverpool make the change. Conor Bradley coming off. Federico Chiesa coming on. So I think Frimpong will drop to right back. And Chiesa will come on at right wing. A little bit of a tweak down that right channel. Lucas Perry having a little talking to by the referee, who did feel he held it for a long time, but not long enough to penalise him for it. 11 minutes to go. Still goalless. Up and away by Perry. Van Dijk wins the header. Met by Be-all on the response, and Van Dijk again winning the header. Nicely taken in by Szoboszlai, but again felt he was fouled. Referee saw no issue as Frimpong steps across to put it out for a Leeds throw. Leeds just trying to keep the ball in this area of the field. Ten minutes to go. Another Ethan Ampadu long throw in coming. Into the area it goes. It bounces down. It's hooked away by Konate. They wanted a handball there, the Leeds fans. Didn't quite get a clear view of it myself as Szoboszlai was McAllister was dispossessed, and across it comes, bouncing around, and Calvert-Lewin has nipped in, but the flag I think's gone up against the former Everton striker, and it remains goalless. He thought he'd been the Leeds hero. Well, I think the offside flag's beaten him there. did look a little bit standoffish from Konate, though, as we see it here. Wanted the foul there when McAllister was beaten off the ball, or Sobersley, sorry, was beaten off the ball. The ball comes in, he's just offside. Van Dijk was the last man for Liverpool, but he just off, I think, with his right foot there. Calvert-Lewin, if his right foot was down on the ground, he was onside, but he just outstretched his foot at the wrong time, and that's what's let Liverpool off the hook there. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, as I said, formerly of the other side of Stanley Park at Goodison, for many years as an Everton player. I thought he'd been the Leeds hero. Offside flag beating him, and Leeds have a man down and borne out, which might trigger a change from Daniel Farker. Jaden Bogle looks like he's getting ready to come on for Leeds. Well, they've had 2 shots in the whole game, Leeds. And both of those shots were shots on target, and they both came in the first half, so they've really showed little to nothing in an attacking sense in terms of the stats in the second half, and the only shot on target in the second half so far has been Dominic Szoboszlai's strike from effort, or from distance, shall I say, for Liverpool. But other than that, not much to test either goalkeeper at this point. But I do wonder, will this one fizzle out? Will there be a late winning moment? Frimpong trying his best to hold off his man, but Okafor out muscling Frimpong, and Leeds trying their best to work it over across the area as Gruyev forces a clearance out of Van Dijk. Liverpool have been dominant for 80 minutes. Look very nervous again. Konate hooking it away. They haven't been anywhere near getting onto the ball in an attacking area in the last few minutes, Liverpool. Here's Gravenberch, though, finding it to Kirkez. The crowd trying to will the ball forward. Goal at Sellers Park. Get there in a minute. Gakpo to McAllister. Whips the ball in. McAllister. Szoboszlai was at the back post. Felt there was a Leeds touch. And Gudmundsson got involved. They wanted a handball in the cup as well there, the Liverpool fans. I'm not too sure there was. See it again. Whip ball in. So it was at the back post. Did it come off his man? Did it come off Gudmundsson? It did come off his head rather than his arm. It should be a corner, definitely, but there was no handball in there. Liverpool make their 5th and final substitution. Jeremy Frimpong replaced by Rio Ngamoa. Rio Ngamoa's come off the bench before and scored a late winner for Liverpool. That was up in the northeast. That 3-2 win over Newcastle. 100th minute that the youngster scored for Liverpool, and Arne Slot hoping he can do the same here. All attacking subs really for Arne Slot in the last few minutes, and as you would expect, as I said, an equaliser, a goal at Sellers Park, and it's 1-1. Fulham have got back on terms. Tom Kearney, the Fulham captain, has levelled things in that one. It is 1-1 at Sellers Park. They hung in there, Fulham, and they got their goal as Chiesa in behind to try and get Liverpool a goal here. Takes it down nicely, finds Rio Ngamoa. Now Gravenberch lays it off to Kirkez. Now Gakpo down the left. Probing again come Liverpool. Gakpo back to McAllister. Szoboszlai lifts one into the area. McAllister tried to get on the end of it. Ekitike battling Gakpo too. And in the end, Gakpo fouling James Justin. Free kick to Leeds. A little bit naive there from Cody Gakpo, if I'm honest. It's a little bit silly. Wasn't much contact, if I'm honest, but to be fair, tasty one. 5 minutes or so to go. Arne Slot, I'm sure, will say that they've done a lot of good things, Liverpool, to this point, but haven't tested the goalkeeper enough, haven't been threatening enough in the final third. Certainly not in this second half, and that's a big disappointment, I'm sure. The fact that Leeds did probably make half-time adjustments, and Szoboszlai wins a free kick there, deep in his own half. They did make half-time adjustments, maybe Leeds, and you kind of felt that Liverpool really needs to create something of magic to get away through, because I think they were a little bit too laboured in the second half. I think they returned to that more of a possessive way of playing football, Liverpool. A little bit too passive. At times in that first half they were really crisp and sharp with their first ball. That's a nice ball by McAllister to find Rio Gamoa. He holds off his man well there, Rio Gamoa. Gakpo. McAllister swinging it towards the area. Chiesa holds off his man, trying to find Ekitike across. Cleared away by Beale. Leeds scramble it clear again. Szoboszlai able to retrieve for Liverpool as Calvert-Lewin tried to hold it up there. Here come Liverpool again. Kerkez. 3 minutes to go. Clock ticking down. Gakpo. Kerkez trying to retrieve the second ball. As sliding in there was McAllister, but Kerkez does retrieve this one that was loose by Leeds. Van Dijk. Gravenberch, not much space wide here for Liverpool to try and get out of. Gravenberch escapes the challenge. Now finds Szoboszlai looking for wide options. No one really going wide there for Liverpool. Very central. Here comes Van Dijk. Out to Rio Gamoa. Gets on the ball. Finds McAllister. To Szoboszlai. Now the wide option in Chiesa. Down that right hand side. Looking to take on his man Chiesa. Gudmundsson there to help defensively, and Liverpool win the throw. Szoboszlai to find Chiesa. He gets the ball across, not finding a man, but it drops into Gravenberch. Now finds McAllister. Van Dijk. Liverpool keeping the ball moving. Leeds following suit. Able to just shuffle across in time. Rio and Gamoa. Trying to work an angle. Finds Kerkez. Right down the left to Gakpo, who felt he was fouled, and in the end the referee gives it the opposite direction. A Leeds free kick. Yeah, it's a little bit sloppy there from Liverpool. The moment they need to try and apply pressure, they've just given Leeds a little bit of a breather in these later stages, and that's what we talk about, keeping the pressure on the opponent. Liverpool on that occasion just unable to keep the pressure on Leeds, and they get that little bit of an outlet with a free kick. How long will be added on is the big question, and will there be anything magical at the end? Long ball forward by Perry. Van Dijk wins the first header and the second. McAllister hoofs it up in the air. It's gone straight up in the air as Gravenberch applies his physicality, as does Chiesa, and McAllister pings one forward, but too far away from Ekitike to cause any threat. All the way back to Lucas Perry again. Last minute of the 90. Liverpool 0, Leeds 0. Konate finding Szoboszlai. Not many movement options for him. Goes out wide to Chiesa. Trying the return ball, and Chiesa ends up hitting a man. Coming back off him, out for the Leeds throw. Gotta say, it's been one of those games where Leeds have just hung on in there. And they've done really well defensively. Physical. And Okafor's kept that one alive. He might get a chance here. No, Okafor cuts it back to the edge of the area. A shot by Stack. Blocked. And another one. Fired well over the crossbar. And we will have 6 added minutes at the end of this one. The crowd trying again to will Liverpool forward. Gravenberch to Chiesa. Not many options as Leeds throw everybody back again. Van Dijk now to Gakpo. Now to Rio and Gamoa. Needed it off to McAllister. Back to Konate. Szoboszlai. Like a cutting edge again from Liverpool. Here's Chiesa though. Trying to change that factor. Finds Gudmundsson. Chiesa muscled, brought down, wanted a foul. Referee waved it away. Goal kick. We'll see it again. Good from Chiesa, actually taking his man on and trying to tussle. In the end, it's a good fair battle. Gudmundsson does well defensively, in my opinion. He does well. Goal kick it is. Still a bit of added time to go, as still a few minutes of normal time to go at Sellers Park. It's Crystal Palace 1, Fulham 1 in the 88th minute, just coming into the 89th minute of that game, and it remains 1 apiece there. It's goalless here into additional time, and Leeds going to make a change. Ayo Tanaka is going to replace Ilya Gruyev, the man who scored the equaliser, for Leeds at Ellen Road just a few weeks ago. And the 96th minute is on here in added time at Anfield with the game at 0-0. Long kick by Perry. Konate did well to win the header. And Chiesa overhead his pass to Ekitike, and it's gone out for a Leeds throw. Liverpool again sloppy in these latter stages. And the game really needs them to step up and maybe be counter to try and win this game. Someone to take a grip of it. Liverpool really haven't taken grip late in these games, and all well and good what you can do in the first 80 minutes of a game, but it all comes down to the latter stages when you need to do something and you need to have that control. And again, latter stages they've been a little sloppier, Liverpool. Allowing Leeds to ease the pressure as McAllister hits from distance. It took a deflection. Ngamoa keeps it alive in the area. Referee says play on. Ekitike trying to work himself into a space. Ugo Ekitike cuts it back across. Deflection behind for the corner, and Ugo Ekitike tries to rile up that cop end crowd. Does really well there, Ekitike. You think he's going nowhere. He does well to work into an angle into the box. Tries to cut it back. It's blocked behind for the corner. That's the injection of energy that Liverpool need, but 94th minute, is it too little too late? Corner. Whipped into the area. Away by the first man for Leeds. Everybody back for Leeds. As crowd wanting Liverpool to hurry up here. Taking too long with the throw. In Chiesa's got no one on. No one to throw it to here. And he certainly doesn't want to give it away. Chiesa does well, finding Gravenberch. Liverpool need to be a little bit quicker. Time is vastly and quickly running out. McAllister. And the left to Kirkez, finding Gakpo. Gakpo, has he got an option? Lays it back to Rio Ngamoa. Now to Gakpo again. Nice from the youngster there. Gakpo trying to cross, blocked. McAllister recycles back to Alisson, who's coming towards the halfway line to help keep Liverpool on the front foot. Here's McAllister, lots of bodies forward, including Virgil van Dijk in the mix there in the middle. Here is Rio Ngamoa, trying to skill his way through the lines, lifts the ball into the area, bouncing around and Leeds and scramble it away. That was nice from Rio Ngamoa there. Alisson fires it long. Ekitike winning his header, brought down by Gakpo. Rolling it to Ekitike, who just was outstretching and couldn't get much on it. As Leeds flick it over the top, but far too much on that for Calvert-Lewin to have any chance at. 1 minute to go of the 6 added. Liverpool 0, Leeds 0 here at Anfield. Is there one more chance? One last opportunity? Or will this one really peter out to a goalless draw? Gravenberch trying to poke it through the lines again, a little bit too impatient. It's Chiesa, now Van Dijk stretching. No one can really get a firm grip of it in the final third there for Liverpool, as Leeds scramble it away again. Daniel Farke's going off on one in his technical area. Not happy with something the referee failed to do. Alisson thumping it long. Up and away, a confident Leeds header, and followed up by another confident Leeds header. As Gravenberg nicely guides it back to his goalkeeper, but surely time is running out. Or has it run out? Allison, out to the left channel, bouncing ball. Chiesa leaves it for Rio Ngamoa, takes it nicely. Ngamoa steps onto his right, finds Van Dijk, who shoots from distance. Didn't get very far as Ampadu blocked and cleared away. 6 minutes up. It's up to the referee now how long's left. Allison's taking on a one-on-one. Turns into a midfielder there, Allison. Is there one last hope? Ibrahima Konate. Out wide to Soboslai. This is surely the last action. Soboslai to Konate. The crowd want it in the area. Ekitike. There's bodies in there. Can they get the cross in? Ekitike's tiptoeing his way around the edge of the area. Now he gets it in. And cleared away. And there is the final whistle. They were given more than enough time. And they really didn't take the grasp of it, Liverpool, tonight. You gotta say, strong, resilient defending from Leeds United, but Liverpool lacking that cutting edge in the final third. Ultimately, cost them 2 points tonight. They get a point, they take a draw. These two teams right up there in the form table. But on terms of the performance tonight, there was surely only one team that should have won it. And that should have been Liverpool, with the chances and the opportunities they had. But in the end, a lack of cutting edge in the final third is what undoes Liverpool and gives Leeds a valuable second point against Liverpool this season. 2 draws between these two. The first was full of goals. The second, you couldn't buy a goal. It's finished at Anfield. Liverpool 0, Leeds United 0. And still ongoing at Sellers Park between Crystal Palace and Fulham. And the 5th minute of 6 added in that one. They're both trying to go for the winner. In that one, it's Fulham with a corner, as I'm seeing it right now. Whip ball in. And it's cleared away by Palace. Not fully cleared, though. And we'll see the fallout from that one. We'll see what comes of that. But it's finished goalless at Anfield, the first game of the calendar year in the Premier League, and it is finished a goalless draw, the only goalless draw of the weekend. Liverpool, one of only 2 home teams to fail to score this weekend, and Leeds the only away team to fail to score so far in this Premier League match week. 2 more games to come for you, and they're coming up very thick and fast. In around about a half an hour's time, we'll have kick-off from the Stadium of Light as Sunderland take on Manchester City. That is our feature game alongside Brentford against Spurs. That's also coming up at 8 o'clock. Do join us then. Thanks for your company, and we'll see you again soon.